At National Grid, our job is to connect people to the energy they use, whether to heat and light their homes or to keep businesses going. This puts us at the heart of one of Britain's biggest challenges: how to have secure and affordable energy while still meeting ambitious low-carbon energy targets and connecting new sources of energy to our communities. The Welsh Government has identified Mid Wales as an important location for onshore wind. As a result, a number of generation companies are planning wind farms in the region, and the extra power generation will need new connections into the national electricity network. Although these wind farms still need planning permission, National Grid has to be ready to transmit the electricity they produce, and so must develop the necessary proposals for the connection. In 2012, we announced we had selected a siting area near to Cefn Coch in Powys for the substation, and a route corridor from the substation via Llansanfraid to the existing electricity network near Lower Frankton in Shropshire. Following further consultation with the public and specialist groups and a wide range of detailed studies, we are now announcing a draft route for the connection, as well as a preferred option for the substation site, west of Cefn Coch. This site is located slightly outside our original search area on land that is part of the consented Tir Gwynt wind farm. Following further investigation of the area, it became clear that land was available, and we believe it offers the best site for the substation.
In developing the route, we've taken into consideration consultation responses from the first round. We've also carried out further studies looking at landscape and views, cultural heritage, ecology and tourism. And we've worked all that together to come up with a solution that we feel lessens the effects on the local area.
Following this process, we're proposing that the connection be made by a combination of overhead lines and underground cables.
The proposed route begins at the preferred substation site to the west of Cefn Coch.
Consultation responses on the substation site indicated that people wanted us to put it as far away from people as possible, and so they couldn't see it. So we think we found a site that achieves this.
An overhead line runs from here, outside, but parallel to the original corridor, using the shallow valley to reduce its effect on the surrounding area, as it continues through to the Afon Banwy near to the A458.
In designing the overhead line route, we've used the natural landscape such as hills and valleys and natural woodland to try and help lessen the visual effect.
We'll also consider the type of pylons that we could use, and this might include the new T-pylon design.
From the Afon Banwy, the route keeps north to avoid villages and caravan parks, and where possible using woodlands to provide a backdrop until it reaches the Meifod Valley, where it goes underground.
When we're considering our choice between overhead lines and underground cables, there are several things we need to balance. The first being the visual impact of overhead lines, and we also have to consider the huge civil engineering job that it is to install underground cables. We can't ignore the difference in cost. There's a great deal of pressure on electricity bills at the moment, and of course everything that National Grid spend makes its way onto customers' electricity bills.
In balancing the financial costs against the cultural and heritage value of this landscape, we are proposing about 8 miles, or almost a quarter of the route, is underground, past the village of Meifod. This means any visual impact would be significantly reduced and the landscape can be largely kept to how it looks today following construction. The line then resurfaces at the end of the valley and keeps to the middle of the corridor to avoid caravan parks and surrounding villages as it runs towards the A483 at Llanymynech. As it continues, efforts have been made to keep away from properties and ensure a minimal effect on the river and Offers Dyke. The line passes Woolsdon and Maesbury Marsh and then crosses the Shropshire Union Canal, the only point where it crosses the navigable section of this waterway, keeping well away from the villages and taking care to minimise the visual effect. The line finally reaches the point where it joins the existing network. More details of these proposals and important specific considerations can be found in the project documents and by watching the project films about each area.
The next stage will be developing a detailed design for the connection, so looking in more detail at where we'll put pylons and also designing the substation and looking at how we can screen that even further.
We're asking for your comments now. We'd like to hear your views on the route and on the substation site before we go on to develop the final detailed plans, and we will present to you those plans before we make our application for planning permission.
Your feedback plays a vital role in developing our detailed design. You can make your views known by using any of the ways shown on screen.